I've already done a video on helping our children sleep, but how does this affect us when our children don't sleep? We can feel quite anxious about that. Sometimes we worry, obviously, how it's going to impact us, because if we're extra tired, we don't cope as well often, especially when we're juggling maybe young children or work or all sorts of other things that need to be done. Also on top of that, we can feel anxious because we know that getting a good night's sleep is good for you, and we want our children to be as healthy as possible. So what about if we use this tapping script to go along with the one that you can use for your children, but this is to help us relax when it comes to sleep, because if our children have struggled with sleep for a period of time, this can really build up a certain amount of anxiety and stress in us. And of course, if we're projecting that at all, it's not going to help to anyone getting a good night's sleep. So follow along if you think this will suit your situation, and hopefully it helps us all feel a little bit more relaxed when it comes to bedtime. So, please take full responsibility for your own emotions if you choose to tap along, and start just by tapping on the side of the hand. So, even though my child just doesn't sleep, they struggle getting to sleep, they struggle staying asleep, there's so many issues when it comes to bedtime. And do you know what? If I'm honest, there's some fear in me around bedtime. Do you know what? It stresses me out. I worry if I'm going to get enough sleep. Do you know what? I have been woken up so many times, and I don't function great when I've not had a good night's sleep. So I'm just acknowledging some of the fear and anxiety that this causes me. And maybe I have had months, if not years, of sleep deprivation. And you know what? It's like torture. It is like absolute torture when you are not getting enough sleep. I know this affects my immune system. And if I'm really selfish, this does affect me. But I'm not just thinking of me. I'm thinking of my child or my baby, and there's a certain amount of anxiety when it comes to sleep on their part too. You know, I mean, all children need sleep, right? And if they're not getting enough sleep, if my baby or my child isn't getting enough sleep, is that going to do them any harm? Is that going to help? Is that going to hinder their growth, their progress? If I'm really honest, there's a lot of different fears around sleep. And there's been a lot of pressure put on sleep, getting to sleep, staying asleep. And I definitely feel anxious around sleep. And I'm just acknowledging this. Do you know what? I've been trying to suppress it. I've tried to just carry on and cope. I've had to. Maybe I've had very small children. Maybe I've had to cope alone. But I'm choosing now just to acknowledge some of these fears. And I'm going to honour myself. Do you know what? I'm going to show myself some love. I'm going to show myself some acceptance. And do you know what? I'm going to forgive myself for anything that I may have think has just hindered this process or made it worse. And do you know what? I'm going to accept everything about this. I mean, parts of this I don't want to accept. It's too stressful. I don't think I'll ever accept the fact that my kid doesn't sleep. But I'm choosing now just to honour all my emotions around this, accept this situation for exactly what it is, and love and honour myself. My kids don't sleep. My babies don't sleep. I am exhausted. There is so much pressure to get sleep. We are all exhausted. We need a good night's sleep. If my babies are always waking me up, I feel exhausted and drained, and I've got to cope with everything in the morning. What if my babies aren't getting enough sleep? I'm worried for their immune system. I'm worried for their future. I'm worried how they're going to sleep, how they're going to cope with the lack of sleep. I know, I've done research. It doesn't do you any good not getting enough sleep. I'm just acknowledging some of my fears that go along with not getting enough sleep. I'm not bad or stupid for thinking this or feeling this. And I know that there's a bit of panic around sleep. I've put quite a lot of pressure on myself. And do you know what? I've probably put quite a lot of pressure on my baby or my child. I mean, not that I've meant to. I mean, no one goes to sleep if you shout, "Go to sleep." But what if emotionally I've been feeling like that? A part of me has just wanted to scream. Why are they not sleeping? Go to sleep. I'm just acknowledging all this panic. all this fear, all this stress around bedtime. I'm choosing now just to think really well of myself. Because you know what? It hasn't been easy. But look, I've got this far. And I have coped even when I have been shattered. I'm choosing now to let my brain know that I'm listening to all its worries, all its concerns. And you know what? Now I've listened, I'm going to let some of this go. This doesn't mean I'm not bothered about getting a good night's sleep. But what if I could accept everything for what it is? Okay, my baby just doesn't sleep well. My kids just don't sleep well. And it is stressful. But you know what? I am still here. And I am still coping. It doesn't feel like I'm coping. I feel like I'm falling apart. What if I could give myself some commendation? You must be a really great parent. Because look what you're putting up with. Look how you're carrying on even when you're shattered. I'm choosing to give myself some compassion, some understanding. Do you know what? I'm going to send myself some love, show myself some love. I'm going to relax when it comes to sleep. What if I could take some of the pressure off going to bed? Some of the pressure off sleeping. I'm choosing to trust that if my nervous system is more regulated and calmer, this can only benefit my child. This definitely isn't going to make the situation worse. So I'm choosing now to find some calm. I'm choosing to allow my nervous system to relax. I mean, let's face it, every family's nervous system is built on the nervous system of the mum. I know we always say it's our fault, but what if everybody is responding to our nervous system? Do you know what? This isn't to blame or shame. This is just to accept that mums do play a big role in family life. I'm choosing to take this, but without the pressure, without all the anxiety, without all the worry, and allow myself to relax. Relax when it comes to bedtime. Relax when it comes to sleeping. I'm trusting that everything is going to be okay. I'm trusting that I can handle even hard, tired days. I'm forgiving myself. I'm showing myself love and compassion. And I'm resetting this nervous system that probably just needs a good night's sleep. And I'm trusting that I can cope. And I'm thinking positive about sleep. I'm feeling good about sleep. Trusting that I'm going to get a good night's sleep. Clap wrists together. I really hope you get a good night's sleep.